Yo guys, what's going on? We got some fat news today, and I want to give my take on it. So, in a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, Kathleen Kennedy has actually gone on to talk about a potential sequel for the Kenobi series. Let's get into it.
We would be honored if you would join us.
It's certainly something we talk about, she says, mainly because everybody came together and had such an incredible time. Ewan had an incredible time, Hayden had an incredible time, so certainly from that point of view, everybody involved would love to see that this is not the end. But we have to really spend our time asking the question, why would we do it? If we were to decide to do anything more with the Obi-Wan character, we'd really have to answer the question, why? And then, of course, we got Deborah Chow touching on the limited series intention of this new Star Wars story, which she says, it was definitely conceived as a limited series, and it is one big story with a beginning, middle, and end. The approach has always been that it's one full story. So going back to what Kathleen said, the answer of why is, well, if this show makes billions of dollars in the sense that, you know, with the merchandise and the amount of Disney Plus memberships that they're about to get in influx in May, then I would be very surprised if Disney doesn't go ahead and greenlight the second season, or force the green light for a second season of this show. Now that can be dangerous in two scenarios. In the first scenario, they have to answer the question why. You know, if this is pushed for money reasons, you know, great, they want to make money and they got to put the creative heads to work. But you need to always ask, what is it for? Are we just doing this for the sake of making cash? In that case, it depends who you get writing it. Is Deborah Chow going to be working on it again? Or are they going to have the sequel issue where they're just going to get somebody else to come in and write the thing and direct the thing? Or is it going to be the same people, the same crew? I think there needs to be consistency with the same crew and the same people and the professionals working on this in order to have some sort of a linear story. That is, of course, unless the first season bombs, which I hope it doesn't, and I don't foresee it. I don't foresee it happening. The second thing I wanted to say is, if they do it, then yeah, we definitely need to ask, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? And the answer to that is, there's another 10 years. There's another literal 10 years. The sequel trilogy took place in 1 year. There's another 10 years here of things that we could be doing, filming, talking about, writing about. It literally is endless. 10 years between episode 1 of the Kenobi series of season 1 and A New Hope, and 20 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So they could even go into a prequel story. They could do a Vader story after Revenge of the Sith. You know how interested I am in that. So they could go as far as they like with this and really stick. And the really important thing about Kenobi and Vader that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, and because I know a lot of people are worried, like, oh, is this going to be bad? There is more source material about Kenobi and Vader than any other character. They're by far the most popular characters in Star Wars, and they are the focal point of Star Wars. I mean, Anakin is literally what Star Wars is all about. He's the chosen one. It's all about Anakin. George has said this many times. So there is so much lore, there is so much information, source material, so many comics, so many books on Anakin and Vader that would literally make for an endless supply of streamable content, of videos. I mean, look at my channel, for example. Most of my content is about Vader and Anakin and Obi-Wan and the prequel trilogy, and there's a reason for that. I find it the most interesting. That's why it's easy for me to talk about, but also because there's so much information on it. There's just endless amounts of content. I mean, I've been doing a video every day for the last 6 years minimum. You can imagine like what these actual professionals with real talent can do if they get together and they just think like, okay, what can season 2 be about? Maybe it could be about, you know, mainly flashbacks of Anakin and the Clone Wars with Obi-Wan. I mean, you could just have like a campfire scene of maybe Obi-Wan talking with his freaking EOP, and it's just like him narrating stories of the Clone Wars, and we just see basically Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars with Ahsoka. Why not? You know, bring Dooku in there, bring Palpatine in there, bring Mace Windu, bring the whole, make it Revenge of the Sith 2.0, you know, or I guess 0.5. Since it's before. Make a series about the Bad Batch. Make a series about the Inquisitors. Make a series about Palpatine or Vader now in this time. If you're focusing on Kenobi, we can have one focus on Vader, and we can show a little bit of Kenobi here and there. There are literally so many things that they could do if they want to do a season 2, and I think it would be ridiculous if they didn't. Now, the only thing with that is that you don't want to dilute the show. So, you know, you get too many seasons. It just kind of takes away the effectiveness. Like, you're, you know, I think episode 1 to 6 was perfect. I think adding a 7, 8, 9, it you know, you get a show going on for too long, it can kind of take away from, it's like, oh, okay, here we go again. It's like, it just doesn't end. I think there's something very special and sweet about having a show or a movie, beginning, middle, end, and that's it, instead of dragging on. So while I'm all for a season 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, you know, I don't want it to become some dragged out long thing. Now that may apply to other shows and other stories, but with Kenobi, with time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, you literally can't drag it out. You could cover literally any character you want. You could cover Luke growing up, you can cover Leia, you can cover Obi-Wan, you can cover Anakin and Vader, Palpatine, you can cover the Empire, you can cover just Imperials if you want. First members of the Rebellion. I don't know. It's really whatever you want to do, I think is gonna work, and it's gonna be fine in this time period because there are so many different things that we could chat about and talk about, extrapolate on. You could make Kenobi season 2 about Maul. Like, have we forgot about where he's at this point? You know, at this point, he is working on his crime syndicate. And he is just working in the shadows and, you know, leading up until Solo, right? So there's so many things that we could talk about and go into. It just matters if they want to do it or not. And I think the show is going to break numbers. I think it's going to break records. And I think that they'll be very inclined to, at least if they won't do a Kenobi season 2, they will do shows that will have these characters in them quite a bit, like a, you know, Rogue One did and this and that. And I think that's probably the way to go. That's probably what they're going to do so that they don't dilute the characters too much, because that could happen if they don't do it right. That being said, I still believe that there is so much material that they can choose from that they'll be fine if they want to do a season 2 about Kenobi. And believe me, it would sell. If The Mandalorian is doing well, they can do the same thing with Kenobi, just based on the characters, and they don't need a cheap gimmick like Baby Yoda, who's unbelievably popular and cute. And believe me, I love Baby Yoda. Now, if you haven't read the book, The Rise of Darth Vader, I highly recommend it. I'm going to talk about it a little more, maybe in a week or so, but you guys should check that book out. It's got a ton of really cool information just about how Vader feels with everything. And yeah, it's cool. So anyways, that's what I think about this. If Kenobi season 2 does happen, I'm all for it. And if it doesn't, then fear not, because we're probably going to get all these main characters in other shows sprinkled around here and there. So thanks for watching this video and my take, and I'd love to hear your take in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.